All right. Hey, everyone. Hopefully you can see me and hear me. Let me bring up my phone. So I had to call an audible on the location. My age-old laptop upstairs in the yep, Albert Bellamy is live. Look at that. Magic of the internet. That's me talking. All right, so I bumped upstairs. My age-old laptop was not cooperating at all. And so had to call a quick audible. I'm still scrambling. So I came back down here and let's go entire screen, screen two, share. Yes, good. Okay. So you can see I knocked out the general knowledge test in just shy of 5 minutes. So let me drop that back off of the screen. All right. So today has been a nutso day. I've taught many hours of classes. I have a client later tonight, all sorts of insane things going on, but really wanted to get this done and get this out to the people because um, I will tell you there was a bit there where I wasn't sure if I would continue doing these videos because the views kept going down. Now I'm experimenting with some things as far as when to publish the videos, how to publish them. Do I do premieres? Do I do live chats? Obviously, time permits or doesn't permit sometimes on that. But yeah, let's hide that. Okay. Um, so yeah, some of it can be difficult, and some of it you kind of wonder, okay, well, what am I continuing to post videos for if people aren't watching them? Last few days, I've had more and more people commenting that they are actually watching the videos, and I've had a couple of people hit me up and say, "Hey, I got the one of the certs based on the study tips that you posted." So we'll keep doing the videos. I didn't really think that much about dropping off, but hey, Matthias, um, and so it was just kind of a momentary sort of, okay, am I doing the right thing here? Is this working for people? I know that hey, Alteryx is a niche subject, and um, some people don't use it for various reasons. I get it. It's not going to ever get the same clout as talking about, hey, I've got a great SQL course for you, or I've got a great Tableau course for you. We're going to get to those, and I want to do content on those subjects as well because I want to study them. And a lot of times I find that I do content initiatives to make myself better. And there is no greater pressure than, first of all, than learning something that you have to teach to somebody because you are going to get questions on everything. And so that's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure of learning something to be able to create content for it. Because think about it, if I teach a class and I punt that class, I just suck. And I get all these questions and I can't answer them. Definitely got questions today that I couldn't answer. It's an uncomfortable feeling. I don't like that. But you know you've got a limited scope there. So if I'm teaching a class, it's 25 people and I look like an idiot because I screw it up. There's only 25 people that are going to know. It's not published. If you put content out there that sucks, especially if it sucks in like a comical way, then the internet lives forever. I mean, you can go delete the video, but if it's funny enough, someone's going to get a screenshot or a GIF of it or something. So that's can be an intimidating feeling to be putting content out there, and you're like, yeah, I don't know if this is any good, really. Um, so anyway, and I did notice in my videos how many ums and ahs I have. I'm very self-conscious about that. Also, how many times I say so. And now I've noticed other people doing that, how many transitional so's they have. All right, enough on that. I did manage to squeeze in between teaching my last class, eating dinner, panicking about the laptop not working, coming back down here to the office. I did manage to squeeze in the test. So like I showed you, there it is. It's not the greatest view. There we go. So yeah, under 5 minutes. I told you this is a short test. It really, really is. Let's get into community, not weekly challenge, certification exams, because I had this all upstairs and I don't have it down here. All right, past there. It's not going to the prep guide. Where do we go to get the prep guides? Learn Academy, certification resources. Okay, I'm doing discovery learning here. Okay, core cert prep guide, general knowledge prep guide. Let's review because this is a study session, so we're studying. Okay, so let's download this. We had this upstairs, but all right. This thing is short. It's 30 minutes. Oh, LinkedIn user. I don't know why it does that. Anyway, happy Tuesday indeed. It is a happy Tuesday. I'm busy. I'm working. I'm employed. Life is good. All right. If anybody out there is unemployed, I'm sympathetic to your plight, and I'm here to help. So let's take a quick look. All right. I have been there, can verify these parameters are all correct. So, um, audience, everyone with an Alteryx community profile. Just remember, you've got to get a username and password to log on to this. Experience level intermediate. I don't know by what definition they say intermediate. There are literally two tools covered on this test, comment and tool container. All right. So this is truly general knowledge. You're going to see a lot of commonality if you did the foundational micro credential. You're going to see a lot of commonality between that because that's largely clickology, the data universe, Alteryx's place in the data universe, the ins and outs of the file types and community and things like that. You'll see a lot of similar concepts on this test. So I would say it's definitely not intermediate. It is beginner. It is free. You get 30 minutes to take it. I knocked it out in under 5. Obviously, most people taking this are not going to have 2 years experience with the platform, but okay, if you fail it, you get one attempt every 7 days. The pass fail cut line for this thing is 66%. So think about that. You got to get what, 14 questions right? It's not hard. Um, Now there are multiple choice, there are matching, and there are multiple response. So let's remember the concepts that we studied on those. Multiple choice, and they don't try to trick you. Multiple choice, it's you select one right answer, and that'll be a radio button. You won't be able to select more than one. If you pick one and then you pick another one, it'll switch. There are multiple response. There are several multiple response. I'd say like 3 or 4. Um, and just remember with the multiple response, there are 2 or more correct answers. And on those multiple response, it literally says exactly how many right answers there are. So you don't even have to guess. So partial credit is awarded. It says select 3 options, select 2 options, select 4 options. It tells you exactly how many right answers there are. So that's good. Badge and certification. Okay. All of this is kind of past tense. All right. So tools, like I said, the only tools covered or asked about in any specific form are comment and tool container. There are questions about the environment and about what can you find in the tool configuration, but it's not what can you do with the select tool configuration. It's talking obliquely about tools. Let's get into okay, all of this, prepare, absolutely. If you do the whatever the intro to data class is, which is like 35 minutes, if you do the getting started, honestly, if you were ready for the foundational micro credential, you're ready for this test as well. And that's why I just did them back to back and didn't do another segment of the getting started learning path. You really don't need it. Okay. Test tips. Read carefully. Absolutely. Use your resources. Sure. Pace yourself. Answer every question. Reflect, review, refine. All good tips. I don't think you need them overly much on this test. But you can absolutely have Designer up And you could look up, you've got plenty of time to look up multiple questions on this test. You're not going to be pressed for time to finish. All right, so you've got the help documentation. You've got one tool examples, learning resources, you got the learning marketplace. That's where I work. Come watch classes on the learning marketplace. Okay, so getting started learning path and the interactive lessons, focus on the ones about Clickology and the platform. So getting started, Alteryx for Excel users, sure, you can do that one. But here we have kind of the talk on what's on the test. So 20%, and remember it's 20 questions. So 20% is literally 4 questions. 20% is use designer search and resources, community, one tool examples, submitting support cases. Stress each of those. What do you do in community? What is the purpose of community? What's up, Paula? um, okay, so yeah, I figured that was you, LinkedIn user. Um, yeah, so focus on like what is the purpose of community? What do we go to community for? What can you submit there? Use cases. Can you ask for help there? How can you get there? There are various different ways in Designer that you can. Let me close out all these workflows. Close all. Hold on, it's going to ask me if I want to save the 27 workflows that I worked on today. No. All right, I'll just open a new one. Here you go. No. Close. Okay. So when you think about what can you do from the help, and actually I used the search bar today when teaching. So I was kind of, mine was drawn a blank, couldn't find the join palette, and so I just went up to the search bar and typed in append to find append fields. But look what else you can find in the search bar. Now let's do something a little more applicable. So we can't remember how to pivot data. Well, what do you get when you type a word of a data process into the search bar? You get the most common tools that can satisfy that need. So when we pivot, what tools do we need? Crosstab, transpose, table, transpose in database. Then what do we've got help articles here to pivot. Now that one doesn't look terribly, these don't look terribly helpful, but in community, we've got these community articles. And so we've got different solutions. So you can get to the community from the search bar. Remember that? What else can you find in the search bar? You can find tools from the search bar. You can pull tools onto the canvas from the search bar. Just know what that functionality is. All right. What else? In community, what do? We greet each other. We share experiences. We submit help articles. Submit support cases there. One tool examples. Where do you go for that? Well, pull this down here. What does a one tool example do? It shows you the configuration options for the tool. So you pull down any tool, go ahead and run the workflow, and you're going to see all the configuration options. What can you do with this tool? What kind of things can it accomplish? What are the various things you're going to do in the configuration pane? Now, where can you get to help from? Well, you can get the help from the results pane. You can get the help from the configuration pane. You can get the help from the search bar. You probably know where to find those resources. So that's the first section, and that's 4 questions. Navigating the user interface, 20%. Okay, let's look at that. Now, navigating the user interface, what are the panes? Where do you get tools onto the canvas? Go away, pivot. Where do you go to get tools on the canvas? How many different ways are there to get tools on the canvas? Well, you can drag it down. Easy enough. You can double click it up there, but that's not really a primary. Let's say I can't remember what it is, also can't type. But we're going to browse. We want to browse. And what tool do we need? Oh, right there, the browse tool. Let's get that. we drag it right from the search bar. That'll do it. We can right click on the canvas, insert, in, out, browse. So we can get it on that way. Now, if we want to, you can't do insert after with a browse because it has no output anchor, but you can do that with a select. Insert after, and we can get our browse tool there. So clicking on the canvas, all of these places you can pull tools from. All right. So definitely know where you can do all of that. Configuration options. Okay, that's kind of the last thing. So let's look at the last one, optimizing workflows. Now, where do we go to optimize our workflow? So we go into our workflow configuration. So you click on the workflow on the canvas off of any tools, and you go into workflow configuration. Here we got canvas options. It's just going to show you certain things while you're running the workflow. You can hide or show your annotations. You can hide or show your progress when you run the workflow. But then go in here to workflow options. That's what kind of file you want to save. Not too interesting there. But then we go into runtime. How do we optimize the workflow? Well, we cut down on the runtime. We make it more efficient. Well, what can we do there? Disabling all browse tools. That improves the runtime. Using the AMP engine improves the runtime. Performance profiling. Look at all the options in here. And these are the things that improve the runtime of the workflow. So there we go. Improving efficiency. And what can you do? What happens when you disable all the browse tools? Well, we got a browse tool on the canvas. It's not connected to anything. Let's fix that. Now it's connected. So let's go into and see, we disabled all the browse tools, kind of puts it in LinkedIn jail, right there, not LinkedIn jail, puts it in Alteryx jail, different kind of jail. So here we got people watching from LinkedIn. So I got LinkedIn on the brain now. But puts it in a little Alteryx jail. So it doesn't hide it. It doesn't throw it away. It doesn't box it up or anything. It just grays it out so that you know, hey, that browse tool is not going to work until you turn the browse tools back on. So workflow or runtime, enable the browse tools, and now it's back. So that's good to know. Okay. What else? Navigating the user interface, we kind of hit on that. Identify the native file formats. Folks just have a list of the file formats available. So what are all the ones we have? YXMD is the actual workflow. If you package that workflow up, it's YXZP or zipped file. And that gives you the dependencies. Now, speaking of dependencies, you need to understand how dependencies work with the file. But you zip up the file YXZP, that is a packaged workflow. YXFT is a table of functions. What else is there? YXDB is the database. So you have to know all of those. But you can just pull up a list and look at it and during the test and find the answers there. Okay. What else? Share and export workflows. How do we export a workflow? Because this is saved just as a YXMD, just as a workflow file. Well, we need to export it. We need to package it up. So we're not going into the save menu. We're going into the options menu and export the workflow. All right. So know how to do that, how to create different files and use them. Now, it's not just the Alteryx genetic file ecosystem. You need to understand the kind of files that work with Alteryx. Well, what do we generally bring in? Well, we're bringing in Alteryx databases. We're bringing in Excel workbooks, and we're bringing in CSV files. Right here is an Alteryx database because it's an example. This one here, we're bringing in an Excel workbook. Okay. So understand what kind of files we're working with. Sharing and exporting workflows, got into that. Understand when we would use a relative or an absolute file path. An absolute file path goes straight in and it's going to say, C drive, Albert Bellamy, OneDrive, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to go through that whole file hierarchy. Now, a relative file path is going to take you from wherever the workflow is saved and it's some adjacent folder. So it's going to start with dot dot whatever adjacent data folder and then the file name. So it's going to be a very short file path. But that's a relative file path. It is relative to the place that you're saving the workflow. All right. And then optimize, share and export, native file formats. Okay, we pretty much did all of that. One tool examples, yes. File paths. Documentation. So documentation is a thing. Obviously, the comment and the tool container tool are the only tools on here. So they're going to be talked about. So let's talk about documentation. Let's just let's get a random file. All right, so we got a file. And let's go ahead and do some stuff to it. So we got some input data. Let's go ahead and select a couple of song IDs, good. Go stream rate, unknown, deselect those. And then let's filter something. What do we want to filter? What's a mainstream artist? Oh, that's just the artist number. That's silly. Okay. Let's say week since release greater than 10. Oh, that's not we got to change the data type. See, we got all sorts of work to do. Week since release, integer. All right, so weeks since release greater than 10, so older songs. Let's go ahead and summarize something. Song ID, let's count those. Weeks since release, let's group by. And that's it. Let's send it to a browse tool. Okay, so we've got a workflow. Super simple. And so we're just showing weeks since weeks since release, getting older, how many songs did we have in the database? Nothing to it. Answer to a stakeholder question. Now, what do we want to do with this? If somebody comes and looks at this, they're not going to be able to see, based on just gazing at this workflow, what we did. The only annotations we have is the name of the file and then what we did with the filter. So let's annotate stuff. Where do you go to annotate any tool? Where you're going to go up here into the select configuration and you're going to pick this luggage tag. Okay, I know it's small, zoomed in for you. Here you can rename the tool. So I don't like select 3. I want to call it Harry. Here I decide, okay, I don't like my annotations at the bottom. I want them to alternate. So let's put the annotation at the top. And what do we do with this select? Deselected unnecessary fields. Bang, now we got annotations. What do we want to say here? Grouped or counted songs by week of release. Cool. Okay, so we've got some annotations. Now we can explain to people, oh, we got to alternate. Look at that. Place that annotation on top. Neat. Okay, now things are kind of out of the way. So we've got some things annotated now. Let's go ahead. Okay, I want my data prep in one container. So let's go ahead and add that to a container. We can name the container data prep. Go ahead and data prep. So let's color it blue. Click off. And it's a nice shade of blue. Okay. So we've got some annotations within the tools. We've got some annotations in the data prep. Let's go ahead and put a comment here and explain to everybody what we're doing with this. And I like my comments to look like Post-it notes. So let's make it yellow. Okay. Alignment, top left. This workflow created 230912 ADB. Can't spell. Anyway, I can spell, I can't type. But created on this date, directed to count the songs. That's terrible. By week older than 10 weeks. By chief data officer. There we go. All right, so now we've annotated with a message tool or with a comment tool. We've got a container. Um, we can make more containers, sum and output, make it orange, but you get the point. So now you're making a workflow and you're annotating, and somebody can come in and next week I'm on paternity leave, and somebody can come in, take over my workflow, and come in and say, okay, I know where the data is coming from. I know what he's doing here in his data prep step, and I know that's exactly what this is. I know how he's summarizing and outputting, and I know why this workflow exists. All of these things are important things to understand because, once again, comment and tool container are the only tools covered on this test. Super quick test. You should be able to breeze through it. 66% is the pass score. Okay. So this is to get you off and running with the testing program and the Credential, the core program. We'll close that down. All right. So any questions on that? Paula, Matthias. Love Paula jacking up the viewership numbers by going multi-platform with us. All right. So if you have questions, I know that there are a handful of people that are following this, that are doing the certificates. I'd love to, if you want to show your certificates on LinkedIn, awesome. A couple of people are out there tagging me, and that is beautiful. So yeah, if I'm helping a couple of people, I'm good. Like I said, Alteryx is a bit of a niche subject. If I was going for clout, trust me, I'd be doing SQL and evidently from the results of the poll I did yesterday, Power BI. We will get to those subjects. I need to broaden my knowledge, if only just to be a better kind of coach and mentor and thought leader to the people that I'm talking to, because they do come and ask me, hey, what skills should I study? Yeah, I don't know too much about Power BI. So I'm kind of eager to learn just so I can kind of give people the straight scoop. Hey, this is a skill or this is not a skill that you should be working on right now. Okay, that is it. What are we doing next? I will not be able to post a video tomorrow. So let's go ahead and say today or tomorrow, you need to take your general knowledge test. So we're on day 12, squeaking over into day 13. Today or tomorrow, take your general knowledge test. If you're done with that, go ahead and start on um, the next segment of the Getting Started learning path. So let's take a look at that. We'll just go ahead and lean forward into that real quick. There we go. All righty, let's go full screen so you can see it a little bit better. So we have done combining and cleansing data. That's what we just finished. And now we're into core topics. That's going to be our next one. So, I was on it anyway. Okay, so path to core certification. Now we're getting into some date time stuff. We're getting into the formula in creating expressions. So we're going to talk about the two ways we can work with a formula, and we're going to talk about summarize. Summarize is one that you really need to know. It factors into just about every workflow you're ever going to build. tremendously flexible tool. Then we'll have a practice exercise. So I'm going to aim to post the video on core topics. Today is Tuesday. Wednesday, I'm going to be slammed. So hopefully tomorrow night I can make that video and then Thursday post it. So that will be, I anticipate that this segment will probably take us 3 days to work through. We'll have some weekly challenges on the back end, and then we can probably go ahead and do another, uh, where do I get off of this full screen? The heck with it. Then we can probably go ahead and do another test. So let's look at what the next test is and what it covers. All right, so general knowledge, obviously that's easy peasy. Get that one done today or tomorrow. Data preparation is the next one, and I think we're probably ready to take that too. All right, so data preparation, let's pull that study guide and see, okay, read and write data. What tools? What tools? Where's my tools? Okay, 12 tools on the data prep exam. Yeah, I mean, I think we're there. So the one beef I have is select records is not one that is highlighted in the getting started learning path. And maybe we're not, I don't know if we did. Did we do output data? Maybe. Okay. I think you could probably give data prep a whack. We're not actually studying any of those hit well formula. Yeah, okay. So at the end of this, we're doing formula on this upcoming segment. At the end of this segment, we will be ready for the data prep exam because formula is a biggie. And the prac apps, you will have prac apps on that test, and you're going to have to implement formula there. So once we get through this, I think everything else we've done, what's continuing core topics, yeah, join stuff, writing data, transpose and crosstab. Okay. So we're going to be ready once we get that next segment. I would say like end of this week, early weekend. I'll put the video out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. We should be ready to take this test. So maybe I'll do another session on Sunday and talk about the data prep exam. Then we're going to be off and moving. That'll be halfway done. So, all right. Paula says study resources are surprisingly helpful. Yeah. Okay. Compared to other platforms, they're amazing. And there are so many times that I wish I could just Vulcan mind meld to people like, hey, this stuff is all free. None of this stuff has to be paid for. It's easy to get a Spark license. Even if not, 30 days is all you need. In 30 days, you can learn all this stuff. You can pass all of these tests and you can be certified in a useful skill that most people don't have. And I will go back to my pitch. Yes, Alteryx is a niche platform and there isn't, it's a kind of a large enterprise platform. Problem with the server. Okay, weird. It's a large enterprise platform to a great extent. Now with the cloud, we're making it a lot more accessible. But here's the thing. There is a madding crowd out there that is, is mastering Python, SQL, R day in, day out. That's all they do. And they all, they're using Power BI because it's open source. They're using Tableau. And if you really want to compete, if you want to wade into that pool and just be part of that mass of people that all have the exact same darn skill set, I mean, be my guest. But you just know you're competing with the masses and you're competing for those jobs where it's easy apply and there are 10,000 applications. So you can come to me for a resume and I'll help you beat the ATS. But just know that that's the place you're playing in with that. I would say with Alteryx, you've got something specialized where you can come in and say, yeah, okay, I can do Python. I can do SQL, but look what else I can do. And look what I accomplished on my own, went out there and got this certification that is coveted, that is difficult to get. All right. So there's my pitch again. I've told you what we're doing next, and I think I just thank my guests, Matthias, Paula. Appreciate you showing up. And yeah, all there is left to say is, folks, stick with me, and I'll make you a genuine Alteryx hero, just like me. I will drop the link to resume review and makeover service. Absolutely, Paula. Will do. Oh, you want me to do that now? Cool. Already said my tagline. Let's go. I don't even have it up. Dot mate. You're right. Paula's my best coach here. She's the one keeping me honest. Here we go. Here you are. All right. Yeah. So I'm getting kind of booked up. Matter of fact, I have a client that I'm meeting with tonight. So life is getting hectic, but business is good. So if you want resume help, um, yeah, hop on there and get the resume revamp. It's still under $200. I don't know how long I can keep it there because my time is starting to get eaten up. So get it while it's hot. 197 bucks. And I will just take your thoughts and your musings and take your shabby resume that ain't getting you a job, and I will pull it in and I will make it like new and something that can beat an ATS and get you into an interview room. And then what you do there is all on you. So, yeah, I guess stick with me and I'll make you a resume hero just like me. All right. Thank you, Paula. Thank you, Matthias. Thank you, everybody else that watches this down the road, all the people working on the cert. And I will talk to you later.